Ah, Robert, you're here.
Well met. Hello.
Robert appears to be mildly confused. Uh, okay, where am I? And what the hell am I doing here? You're in the Blackwood Tower. I'm a little surprised to see you here, Robert, but I'm guessing Terinus needs you for something. And he couldn't just ask first? Typical wizard. Any idea why we're here? Well, he kept hinting at some grave threat to the country from beyond this world, something related to the Iron Lord. Threat from beyond, hmm? He puffs his cigar thoughtfully. You know, after winning a war, I figured to have a day or two of not being up to my knees in blood. Just for a change of pace. Did he say how much he's paying? We own that guy. You can take whatever you want, I'd imagine. Hey, that's my kind of deal. Count me in. Great. Let's go and look around. Lead the way. Oh, thank God. At least we have one competent fighter in the scope. I put his gear somewhere special. Is this still the same? No, yeah, it's the same piece of shit. Right, I clearly stored it away somewhere. We had no... well, I have his boots. Fire resistance ring, right.
Greetings and well met.
Nelise. I must say, this is a surprise. I was about to go and tend to the wounded around Fairlock, but suddenly I find myself here. Wherever here is. I believe Terinus wants your help, as well as mine, for some sort of mission. We're back in his tower. My help? I have broken my oath to defend the king, and then aided his downfall. I was actually considering sequestering myself in a convent, and praying for guidance for a few months. Fighting against that tyrant was the right thing to do. Was it? I don't even know anymore. Truth be told, I feel lost. I always felt like I was following the calling of my heart, doing what was right, but my heart has broken, Ramir. I'm not sure I'll be of any use to you. You're being too hard on yourself. Give yourself the benefit of the doubt, or at least put it aside for a little while longer. I suppose I must. If I'm to deal with Terinus, I must remain impartial, and I find it unlikely that one who was involved with all the bloodshed over the past 2 years will say anything worth listening to. That's good enough for now. I'm a little skeptical myself, but let's see what happens. Agreed. Just a word of caution, though. If he doesn't have a good reason for bringing me here, I will arrest him and take him back to Fairlock as my prisoner. Yeah, good luck with that. If it turns out he was making this great threat up, you'll have to get in line first. Come on then, let's get this over with. Lucas will see to your needs. I will return shortly. Hello there, Governor. Fancy seeing you here again. Welcome to the, shall we say, towering tower of Terinus. Don't you worry about the boss. He's just a bit tired after being handed his rear end and whatnot. You'll just go and cough up some furballs, and he'll be right as rain, he will. Oh, it's you again. I suppose you're his assistant or some such? By that I am. See to all his needs I do. Well, some of his needs. Let's be clear about that. Oh, that's a corker that is. Yeah, me and the missus sort of hang around, do the cooking and cleaning and such. Sure, living in a tower with a giant wizard has its downsides too, but he's very considerate of my vertically challenged nature. I don't recall seeing any of your people around before. Where are you from? Oh, another world, don't you know? I won't see many of my kind around to these here parts unless they's hiding like we are. Political refugees, that's the correct term, what? A bit like the man himself, actually. Of course, this job got all them perks, don't it? Magic power out the ears, contacts on other worlds, and a steady supply of them nice black robes. I had suspected he was not from this world. Interesting. Aye, that's why he keeps his face hidden, of course. Our governor is from parts beyond, I don't mind telling ya, and it's cause of his benevolence that me and Mrs. still draw breath. The man started wars that led to the death of thousands of people. Benevolent is hardly the word I'd use to describe him. Ah, well, that's cause you don't know of the terrible burden he carries, see. Don't take that decision lightly, my word. Poor bugger's got the whole world to worry about. What? He'll probably tell you all about it when the time's right. You mentioned you had a wife. Is she here? Aye, that she is. You met her, didn't you? Things got pretty hectic during your last visit, with what all the fire and sword fighting and such. Lucas calls down the hallway. Hey Sappy, come meet our guests. She'll be here in a moment, my oversized friend. Take a bit longer to walk around this place on legs not too much bigger than matchsticks, don't you know? Okay, there's no rush. Ah, there you are, my sweet. You recall Ramir, don't you, love? Of course. Welcome back to Blackwood Tower, Ramir. Lucas and I are at your service. Thank you. That's right. You're here to service your every need. Well, almost, if you get what I mean. Lucas winks. Get it, love? Saphiron rolls her eyes. Yes, Lucas, it's only the 1000th time you've made the joke. Well, the classics never get old, know what I mean? Course you do, Governor. Yeah, Safi and I have been together a long time now, ain't we, love? Yes, we certainly have, Lucas. A long time. Try not to sound too enthusiastic there, love. You might give the wrong impression. Like we is enjoying our exile or something. Of course, sweetie, whatever you like. I'm sorry to be rude, but I have some tasks to complete. I'll see you all a bit later. Of course, Saffron, don't let me interrupt. Ain't she pretty? The apple of my eye, she is. Core. Uh, there seems to be a room just to the left there that I don't recall seeing before. Oh yeah, that. Well, not much point having a secret room if just anyone can stroll along and poke their head into it, what? I searched this place from top to bottom when I was here yesterday and I never noticed a secret door. It ain't no ordinary secret door, that's why. I was one of them permanent illusion spells. Terinus don't let nobody see stuff he don't want them to. What's there anyway? All sorts of secret stuff. Really hush-hush sort of thing. Since he's turned the illusion up, I'm thinking he wants to give you the grand tour at some point. So I won't may take up any more of your time with my ceaseless prattle, as the big man calls it. Ah, very well. I'll go and find the man himself. Right. Can I go and find him? Yeah, we saw this room before but couldn't access it. And they're still dead here. That's a nice touch. Everyone gather around.
What do you want?
Ah, Ramir. I trust Lucas was not too much of a nuisance.
He was the perfect gentleman.
Excellent. He does tend to carry on sometimes, but he is the most capable aide. All right, enough banter. Up with the hood. Excuse me? The hood. Remove it.
I concur with Robert. I want to see your face for once.
Any particular reason?
Lucas mentioned you were not of this world. I want to see it for myself.
Reasonable request. Here I am then.
Looks like a Githyanki.
Now there's something you don't see every day.
My word, what race are you? Where are you from?
My race was the gift, and I hail from a pocket dimension inside the astral plane. And to answer the question now preying upon your mind, the gift are a subspecies of human with a long and storied history all of their own. It is, however, irrelevant to our present situation, and so I shall not digress further.
Fair enough. We have more pressing concerns at the moment. No. One last thing. You mentioned your race was the gift. What happened to them?
We were conquered by the ancients. I now serve the very beings that destroyed my world. Reluctantly, of course, but with little say in the matter.
So is that why you want to help me? Help? You want my help to take them down? You are out for revenge?
Just so. But more than that, I wish to atone for the many injustices I have visited upon this world. But enough of such talk. I'm hungry, as I imagine are you. Why don't you have a rest and then join me for a fine meal? We can talk of weightier matters then.
Sounds appealing. Let's eat. After a well-earned rest, you sit down to a long, sumptuous dinner, except that I didn't rest again. You sit down to a magnificent dinner, and the centerpiece of which is a large boar flank, with roast potatoes, pumpkin and gravy on the side. An hour or so later, after you finish the meal, Terinus opens a bottle of fine wine and pours a glass for each of you.
Thank you, Lucas. That was outstanding. Leave us.
Right you are, Governor. Come on, Sappy, let's give him some privacy.
Lucas is a fine cook. I trust you enjoyed your meal.
Yes, it's been a long time since I had a 4-course meal like that. Thank you.
It will most likely be the last for some time. The task we're about to undertake will give us little time for the simple pleasures of a good meal.
Trail rations aren't so bad once you get used to them.
Sure, it can get a little binding after a while, but there are ways around that.
Robert lights up a cigar. That was entirely too much information. This task you mentioned, Terinus, does it involve hurting King Osric? Because I think I'd really like to, hurt Osric.
I had not intended to encounter Osric as part of my plan, but his appearance at Verloc with the golem has changed things. It shall be our first order of business to discover where he obtained that mighty construct.
So you haven't seen anything like it before?
No, and that troubles me. A golem constructed of pure adamantium is not to be underestimated. I doubt any of your weapons would even be able to dent it. Fortunately, I know of a place where such weaponry can be obtained. This was, in fact, to be our destination even before Osric's appearance, for such equipment will be necessary if we are to meet the ancients on their terms.
Ancients on their own terms, right? Shouldn't have skipped that. So you work for these ancients, or at least used to. Do they have a proper name?
Of course, I refer to them as the ancients because that is all you know of them as. They are also known across countless worlds as the Devourers, but their race is called Saccharin.
Saccharin. Devourers, eh? Sounds ominous.
Which is precisely why we shall need to acquire powerful equipment in order to defeat them.
I'm starting to like this plan. What exactly is your role here anyway? Why do the Saccharin want to destroy so many innocent people? Terinus sips his wine and becomes somber.
I have pondered how to tell you this in a way you can understand, but words fail me. Suffice to say, the recent war, and indeed all the major wars over the past 1,000 years, have been instigated by the Saccharin in order to keep our population under control.
I don't understand.
I know it is difficult. Think of it like this. When one country conquers another, they sometimes take prisoners. Let us say that these prisoners were kept on a large island from which there was little chance of escape, because they did not know how to build a ship. The victors built a large ship of their own to patrol around this island, to keep an eye on the prisoners. Over the years, the prisoners breed and would become difficult to control because the guards are few in number. So they induce fighting among the population to thin out their numbers.
Are you saying that our entire world is some sort of prison?
Not just a prison.
Terinus takes a deep breath.
This world is also a farm. The Saccharin have an empire which spans countless worlds like this one, and they need food. And what better food is there for them than their prisoners?
I'm sorry, but I find all this rather difficult to believe. An entire world kept as a prison, but some kind of godlike race. Preposterous.
And what is your role in all of this exactly, wizard?
I am one of the wardens, to continue the analogy. It is my task to provide weekly reports to my masters and then carry out their instructions. But in a way, I am as much a prisoner as you are. I serve but reluctantly, and once my masters discover my treachery, my life is forfeit.
And then what would they do?
They would obliterate the entire country to the point that the only thing left of Aielund would be a giant crater in the ground 1,000 miles wide where nothing will grow for the next 1,000 years. However, there is more that you need to know.
Such as?
I recently bribed one of their lower-ranking members for information, and it is my understanding that the Saccharin are an empire in decline. Their race is ancient, and their wars among the stars are countless, and although they once ruled supreme, I believe they are slowly losing ground against the newer, more energetic races that have entered the fray against them. Recently, they have been relying more and more upon myself, and those like me to carry out their work. A century ago, they are the ones which introduced their relic armor, the suit you call the Iron Lord, to Alaric Roebeck to destabilize the country of Aielund, as Alaric was on the verge of signing peace and trade accords with all the neighboring kingdoms. This would have led to an era of prosperity and scientific advancement beyond what they would tolerate of their prisoners. It was the only piece of their technology that I'm aware of that anyone on this world possessed. That is, until I saw Osric carrying that power sword.
That belongs to the Sakharin. So, does that mean they gave it to him directly?
I do not know, and I dare not contact my masters to find out directly. It bears further investigation, but first we shall make a stop to pick up some equipment of our own. Come, I shall show you to my lab.
Okay. It sort of fits to the history of the Illithid, because they ruled over a lot of races, and they're astral travelers. So they don't really have to fly through space to get to other planets. They can go to the astral plane and appear somewhere else, travel through that. But they don't have to rely on any kind of real technology to basically teleport from one place to another.
Could you turn on that power generator behind me, please?
How do I do that? Ah,
Thank you.
What do you want?
It will take but a moment to set up the teleport for our brief journey.
what is this place anyway? I recognize some of this equipment from other places. The ancients, the Sakharin or whatever, used to control.
Yes, they used to have many secret outposts and bases of operation here long ago. In addition to controlling the teleport system, this equipment allows me to view any part of the world instantly, acts as a repository of knowledge, and of course allows me to communicate with my former masters. You now understand why I keep this part of the tower behind an illusionary wall.
If I had any doubts about your story before, all of this does prove some startling evidence. Knowledge of this Sakharin is truly humbling.
Wait a minute. If those other places I saw had mostly been ransacked, how do we know this other cache of yours is still intact?
Because unlike the other outposts, this one is completely sealed inside a mountain and has been monitored on a regular basis to ensure it does not cave in. Also, it is only accessible with a very precise teleport. It is impossible to enter this place in any other fashion.
Excellent security. Good. Carry on with whatever you're doing.
Just a moment. Very well, the teleporter is prepared. Just step onto the teleportal chamber and I will meet you on the other side.
As you wish. Could I rest now? Not sure if our spell selection is good, but it is what it is. I'm... fuck it. What fuck it? Give me true seeing. The creeping doom just sucks. Yeah. Yeah, it just sucks. We've long moved past the point where it would have been very useful. Druid sort of is the most horrible choice of a caster you could make here. I mean, staying as a pure druid. You would have to go with the shape shifting at the very least. So there's a workable path, there's sure. Cleric might be... Cleric can always boost himself to act as a warrior caster, even if he doesn't take the fighter levels. A wizard is naturally capable of handling anything. Wizard would face a different sort of a problem. You have a fairly limited amount of spells, like probably around 5 at the maximum on the 9th level. So how the fuck are you gonna survive? And I don't think it's even 5 necessarily, it could be as little as 3. And there's a lot of lengthy fights where you have to do hundreds of points of damage to get a single trash opponent down.
A trap. One door.
Energy converter. One door. One door. You have the one? So I powered that up. Black light. Where's the wand?
Oh, that had to hurt.
What do you want?
That was painful. Good work deactivating the force field, though. Its power was keeping me paralyzed.
Was that supposed to happen? Some sort of trap?
Yes, but I didn't set it the last time. Something is wrong. I suggest we move inside and investigate further.
Okay then. Well, okay then is my typical response to these. Can I replace this stone skin with something? It literally will not protect against anything at this point. Old monster is something I haven't been using. Freedom of movement? I suppose we could try to dispel magic in a desperation against a spellcaster, but Jesus fuck, that's a desperation move. What else am I gonna do? Right. I want to see.
No. No, it cannot be. The vault has been ransacked.
Right, all the dressers are open.
All the knowledge stolen.
I take it this place was supposed to be intact. This does not bode well for us.
Come here, I need to speak with you.
They took everything. I'm stuck.
What do you want?
Terinus is clearly shaken.
This is barely comprehensible. The safest place in the entire world, and yet it has been plundered. I am at a loss.
Come on, hold it together. We needed the equipment from this place, right? Is there some way we can find to who did this? Terinus appears to collect his thoughts for a moment. When he speaks again, it is once more with quiet confidence.
Yes, there is the ability for me to recall images of things that happened in here, but the console is not working. That power generator over there appears to be damaged. Look around and see if you can find a replacement crystal for it, would you?
Alright, I'll get right on it. One dresser hasn't been opened. Oh shit. Crystal rod. Examine the generator. Generator appears to be very old and worn, but mostly intact. The exception to this is the crystal rod that lies within the mechanism. It would appear to have cracked and broken. Replace. You carefully open up the generator and pull out the old crystal rod. It is a simple procedure to replace it with the new one, which you lock in place, ready for use. Turn on. Okay, Nelly's does not regenerate. I had some weaker healing potions. Drink it. She can easily heal herself in a desperate situation. And since I'm the reason she got wounded in the first place, I'll heal her.
What do you want?
Excellent work. Now I can make use of this console.
Ernest touches the flickering panel in front of him for a few moments. Anything?
I have found a partial recording of the events that took place here. I will access it now.
Ernest watches the images before him with unswerving attention. When it is done, the mage is silent. Well, what did it show? Talk to me, damn you.
You should see this for yourself. I need to clear my thoughts.
Sure, whatever you like. What's the problem? View the recorded scene. I would imagine Osric is one of the arrivals.
It seems safe enough. I don't care what His Majesty says. I don't trust that thing. Keep your opinions to yourself, Sir Knight. Sorry, sir.
Excellent. Everything is as I was told. Our troubles are over, gentlemen.
Any idea how we're going to get through that magical barred door?
Simple matter. Easily resolved with the right tool. One last thing before we enter, Golem. Destroy that scrying device. Osric. But someone told him how to get here.
What do you want?
Terinus is simmering with rage.
King Osric Davignon. That man is beginning to irritate me.
Welcome to my world. Can we kill him now?
Get in line. He's played us all for a bunch of fools. If you don't kill him, I will. Yes, but first I mean to ascertain how he gained access to this vault. He mentioned something about receiving instructions. There are few who would know how to get in here, and I know all of them. Before we confront Osric, I would like to talk with an associate of mine.
In what way is this individual associated with you?
She, like myself, is a warden of this world. She merely watches over a different part of the country, in this case Tucson. She might have something to do with this, or at least know who did contact Osric.
How many of you people are there anyway?
Many. I do not know the exact number, however. The secrecy and paranoia in our sect may work to our advantage. But whatever you do, do not attempt to fight her in her place of power. She has most likely set up many enchantments that would render such a bold move ineffective.
As you wish, I'll be discreet.
Good. I shall go and change the portal's destination to her tower into zone. Come.
Ah, fucking more high-level mages. Or casters with large, high-power enchantments. We need something to counter that. Something besides taking the obvious route of a single level of some kind of caster. Well, I should have money. 1.2 million. So if I have to waste all of that to get that particular tool, I'll do it happily.
The target has been set. You may step into the portal.
Anyone else want to share their
Greetings
thoughts about this? I know it was difficult for you fighting against the king, as well as your own church. How are you holding up?
I'm trying not to think about it actually, but I'd prefer not to talk about it just now. I think it's best if I focus on the task at hand, perhaps later.
What will you do after all this is over?
I suppose I will be held accountable for my actions. There will most likely be a trial at some point, but until then I will tend to the injured, help to rebuild the country until I'm no longer allowed.
It's very noble of you. It might even help your case should a trial be held.
Oh, it will be, I assure you. The people have been hurt, and someone will have to be held accountable.
I think most of the blame will go to the king, if you ask me.
Perhaps. I find it hard to believe I will avoid any blame in the matter, especially considering the church's role.
Okay, but say by some stretch of the imagination you are not blamed, and you're free to do whatever you want, what would you do?
I believe I would sequester myself in a monastery for some time, until I come to terms with my actions. After that, who knows?
Well, at least you planned on the possibility that you'll be free. That means you haven't given up hope yet.
I suppose not.
Elise is silent for a few moments.
Was there something else you wanted to speak of? You seem to ask the most personal questions sometimes.
Right. What about you?
Well met.
So, looks like your thoughts on clerics have been proven correct.
I hate it when I'm right.
Wait, no I don't. I love it. This is hardly something to laugh about.
You're right, it's pretty tragic, really. I don't know what it is about religion. Just seems to do funny things to people's minds. This sort of thing happened a century ago too, but that time it went on for a few years longer before the House of Cards came tumbling down. Different circumstances, of course. They didn't have an armored madman running the show. Not that it mattered, of course. Didn't know you studied history. Oh yeah, I'm surprisingly learned for a grunt. I had to learn a lot about battle tactics, history and the like before I could run my own mercenary army. Logistics alone is worth the read. Entire battles have been won and lost on coordinated movements of supplies. But who knows, maybe this time they'll figure it out and learn from their mistakes. Stranger things have happened. Not often, mind you. So anyway, something else you wanted to talk? Right. Wondering about the importance of the logistics. It's
it's probably something you don't think about too much, but most of an army is probably logistics. Make sure that the minority fighting force is able to project its capabilities at full strength, has the equipment it needs, has the ammunition it needs, has the fights on full stomachs, has all the other kind of little shit you never really think about. I'm not sure how big of a thing it would be in a modern world, because movement is fairly easy now, but simply and siege combat isn't really that much of a thing anymore. Not in the sense it might have been previously, because now the firepower has grown to that extent, no fortification really withstands it. But with the ages of castles and the like, simply cutting out some kind of equipment wagons that support a large army, that transport food necessary to keep them fed, it's might as well been just as good of a way to defeat an army. They don't even have to die out of hunger, but you weakened out of hunger, morale of the army crumbles, so it's not an effective fighting force anymore. So it just sort of rubs me the wrong way that he says the entire battles have been won and lost on coordinated movement of supplies, because it seems like, well, no shit. But he says it's like it's something unexpected. It's probably one of the most major part of fighting a war, like why in World War II American tanks, the Shermans, why they're shit compared to the Russian and German tanks, if you compare them on one-on-one performance and the like. But a lot of the positives of a Sherman tank would be exactly the ease of manufacturing and logistics. You have to ship them from America to the various theaters of war around the world. So, and you have to maintain them, everything like that. So it's a lot of the benefits because of that result in inferior in performance in many ways. They're, I think, shittier armor. The main gun is not enough to really penetrate enemy armor at long range, that sort of stuff. But you can make tons of them. You can transport them. You can have a lot of tanks to basically support your infantrymen all over the place. So at the same time, while German tanks would be in many ways far superior, you would also have problems in the maintenance department. You would have trouble having the numbers necessary, and you would have trouble maintaining your combat capable tanks. So you might have better tanks, but you can't project them in large enough numbers or maintain them in fighting condition to counter the inferior tanks. So logistics makes a world of difference. Doesn't matter if you have the better equipment if you don't have the ability to maintain that combat performance. You went back to fighting the war even though you had a chance to settle down. Do you still have a thirst for adventure after all the bloodshed we've seen?
Gotta admit, I'm not as young as I used to be. It was a young man's game. After the Battle of Fort High March, I had a good rest, but then just found myself getting bored. I'm just merc because of the pay, or the travel, but because it's all I have ever known.
You need a hobby.
I suppose I do. Maybe fishing, brewing ale.
He shrugs.
I'll think of something when the time comes. Still have to survive this quest, don't we?
I'm guessing that you're finally realizing that you can't keep doing this forever.
True enough. After all this is over, I'm going to take another shot at the quiet life. Find a place to settle down, maybe a nice girl to look after me. What girl would want a scarred old campaigner like you old bastard? The kind that likes my gold, of course. Robert winks and grins. I have enough to retire wealthy for the rest of my life, so yeah, maybe it's time I did just that. Bah, the first sign of adventure, you'll be back on the road again, mark my words. Right. I think Robert Black is, it's a romance, he's a romance option, I think, for female characters. Even if you end up killing him, you can romance him later on. And it's not that bad of or an unnatural romance either, because of his mercenary attitudes. Welcome to the Ebon Tower. Ebon Tower? What is it with you people and Black anyway? It's appropriate considering our station. We dwell in the shadows, but now is not the time to discuss our fashion choices, for we are being observed. Come, I will take you to see the ruler of this tower. Be warned, she can be manipulative and cunning. Introduce yourself, but let me do most of the talking. If you say so. Lead on. It looks exactly like his tower. Probably not a coincidence. Veronique Lenore. Impossible. This voluptuous woman is apparently a wizard of great power and knowledge, and Terinus' counterpart in this region of the world.
I guess all their towers are built the same way. Looks almost identical to the Blackwood Tower.
I need to speak with you. Come here. Well, hello there.
Well, hello there, Ramir Swift. Such a pleasure to meet you in person.
Pleasure is all mine, dear lady.
Oh my, you are a charmer, aren't you? I'm Veronique Lenore, and you are in my tower uninvited. Terinus, what is he doing here? You know visitors are forbidden.
Strangely, you do not seem that concerned. Could it be because you often bring young men to your tower?
Robert eyes Veronique up and down.
Lucky, lucky young men.
Can say that again.
If you two are quite finished.
Right, sorry, go on. Veronique has been watching you with a sultry smile.
Oh, I don't mind at all. But as to your question, Terinus, bringing men to my tower would be breaking the rules, would it not?
Veronique's outrage seems rather fake.
You dodged my question, Terry, so I'll ask again. Why are you bringing people to my tower?
They are here because they witnessed a break-in at the vault. The entire facility has been emptied.
Yes, I know. I do have access to the same information as you, of course.
That's curious. Terinus and I didn't find out about this until we went there. How did you know?
King Osric is a project of mine, and our mutual friends, Terry. I see potential in him, and that is all I can say.
Wait. You told Osric how to get into that vault and take all the powerful equipment. You are responsible for everything that's happened recently.
In a way, I suppose. Asric is my project and Seamus is Terry's. Whoever proves strongest, well, that would be telling. By the way, how goes your little king puppet, Terinus?
He is proving to be quite destructive, actually. He will prove more than a match for Osric, I believe. You shouldn't have given Osric access to the vault, though, Veronique. That equipment was not meant for him.
And you weren't supposed to give Seamus the power armor either. We have both bent the rules here, my dear. Veronique lowers her voice to a whisper. I won't tell if you won't. Now look here, I've just heard just about enough of you two, and the games you play with people's lives. We are not mere toys for your amusement. A lot of good men and women died in this damned war, and if you do not show us some respect, we will have a reckoning. Ah,
Well said.
my, look who's full of righteous anger. Now that I find amusing. You have no idea what you're talking about, my celestial friend. For if you did, you'd know better than to mouth off like that in my tower.
She's just venting some frustration. It's been a hard year for many of us. But she's going to be quiet now, right, Nellies? Simmering anger clearly shows on Nell's face.
Of course, forgive my rudeness.
I have a question though. Did you give Osric that massive golem too?
Golem? Oh, you mean the dreadnought. Golem is such an archaic term, hardly appropriate for such a construct. Yes, it is one of the new toys from our friends above.
And why have I not heard of this?
Veronique. Veronique shrugs.
If our friends did not tell you of it, then you must not have needed to know. This one is a prototype anyway. Perhaps they are waiting to see how it performs before giving you one.
It seems to be kept out of the loop on many issues these days. Nevertheless, I have what I came for, and now will take my leave of you.
Such a polite man. You should really stop by more often, Terry. It's such a lonely task we have here. We could make things easier for each other.
Veronique winks subtly at Terinus.
Ooh, Terinus the Black gets some action. You could stand to loosen up a bit there, Terry. I don't think so, Veronique. I'm not one of your boy toys to be used and discarded. Good day to you.
Suit yourself. Oh, and Terry, don't go near Osric. He's my project, and I won't have you sabotaging my efforts.
I wouldn't dream of it. Come, Ramir, let us return to my tower. Veronique, please set up the portal for us.
Farewell for now.
Unnecessary. I can teleport you back directly. I knew you would not be staying long, one way or another. But rest assured, we shall meet again soon. Farewell for now.
So what's the plan?
What do you want?
That went as well as could be expected.
She was really different to you. Any particular reason why?
She was not forced into servitude like I. Some, all of the wardens are chosen for their attitudes as well as their talents. That woman takes far too much pleasure in her work. So, you never, availed yourself of her services then?
Clearly, he can barely tolerate her presence.
And how does he know so much about her nocturnal activities, eh?
Robert lights up a cigar, striking one of his matches on the rough surface of a nearby wall.
Come on, Terry, let's have the truth now. You don't live for years with access to that sort of woman without at least thinking about it. You want to know what I think about? I think about the death of my entire world. I think about the death of my wife and children. I think about the day I can finally repay the Sakarin for their brutal massacre. The pathetic attempts of one of their brainwashed trollops to seduce me are beyond irrelevant. You are being paid very well, Black. I suggest you keep your opinions about my personal life to yourself from now on.
Robert gazes at Terinus for a long moment, puffing absently on his cigar.
Good answer. We're done.
I'm sorry, Terinus, for everything you've lost and for our unwanted questioning.
It is, as I said, irrelevant. Suffice to say, our little games are part of a broader battle of the mind that many of us are engaged in. How the games my masters play.
So they play you against others of your station. Is there a point to that, or are they just indefinitely mad? Indefinably mad? It's a clear, well, not necessarily divide and conquer, but it's my method of control. It's it's like what Russia does currently. Uh, well, he surrounds itself with sort of buffer countries, but it doesn't want them to grow strong. It's very happy to keep them weak, or in like in Ukraine, in sort of a keep some kind of a conflict brewing there that is never gonna go away, because as long as it's there, the country cannot possibly pose any kind of a security threat toward Russia in any serious way. Also not probably connected to any kind of military alliances. I think it's something to do partly because of two things. One, Russia's geography. They pushed their borders to a large extent to have sort of natural formations or oceans to protect their borders, but especially on the European side, it's mostly flat plains. So there has to be sort of a, they want to push their buffer as far as they can. So in case of shit going down, they have at least some kind of a buffer. Time to act, time to react, time to deploy forces, time to do something, time to potentially push forward to limit their exposure to them, to get sort of some kind of bottleneck going, so they don't have to try to defend impossibly long borders that have no natural barriers to them. A similar reason why they wouldn't want Sweden or Finland to join NATO, because that's another entire long border very close to some of their larger cities that's basically opened up. Another is the what happened in World War II. I think, I mean, there was a shit ton of Soviets that died in the war, probably more, massively more than any other country lost. So it just affects the people who survive, because everyone lost people, multiple people probably in the war, and it was very ugly at times against Germans. So it probably shapes the entire consciousness of a nation. Like never again type of consciousness, and being very, very sure that you have sort of a strong security and defense focus. But with the illithids, they want to keep them weak or uh, isolated, so they will never become a threat from below. They only have to worry about other races becoming a threat, focusing on them. So they play you against others of your station.
The theory is that competition will create better results, though the stakes have never been this high before.
I don't think that's the case. Not alone.
You talk about all of this as if it's a game too. I would appreciate not being thought of us as a chess piece.
That's I understand Nelis's sentiment, but humans consider humans to be chess pieces too. You just have to take a bit more strategic point of view, and it becomes a natural thing because individuals stop mattering. It's all about, do you have the numbers? Do you have the logistics? Do you have maybe sufficient number of armor units versus infantry units? Do you have a sufficient amount of air force? All that. At some points, it doesn't matter. The individual just naturally sort of gets wiped away from that. It becomes irrelevant. Apparently, I second the motion, though.
Forgive me, Lady Nelise, but I'm afraid that is exactly how you and the others have been looked upon. If it helps, you are now beyond such menial comparisons. By working with me, we are all thwarting the Sakari plans and thus breaking out of their control.
That's more like it. All the same, I hope we have the opportunity to meet your lady friend in battle. I found her attitude to be quite unseemly.
Oh, I don't know. I think I could have investigated her loose ethics a little further. You and me both know. Nelly smiles for the first time in a long while. Abrupt and unrelated topic change. I noticed that she didn't seem to realize that the Iron Lord has been destroyed.
Yes, we normally only survey the region which we are assigned to. Even though Osric is important to her plan, she would not normally scry into my territory, as she is unenlightened as to the current situation, at least until Osric returns and tells her.
We're still going to fight Osric. I just want you to know that.
Yes, but we must be prepared for the possibility that he will have assistance.
It doesn't matter how much help he has, we must stop him.
Ramir, we will also have to destroy that golem, and Osric has the weapons that we were going to use to defeat it.
And your point is?
You are truly set on this path, aren't you? Very well, I suggest you come up with a plan. I will scribe for his present whereabouts while you prepare yourself for the coming fight. Lucas will be able to identify anything that you have trouble using, and he can take excess items off your hands. Sephiron is an excellent potion maker, and I have directed her to increase our supply of healing potions. You may speak with her to obtain some. I also have a store of potions and scrolls that you may help yourself do in the antechamber. Let me just switch off the force field.
Right. So, shopping capabilities before a fight. We certainly want the rest too. Epic healing potions. Right, we're massive amounts of these now too. I'm taking all the spells I can use. I'm taking all the spells. They might still prove to be useful, even if I can't directly take advantage of them. Where are the two little ones? Right, Safiran has potions. Lucas should be able to function as a shopkeeper.
How are you?
I love what they've done with the place. Nothing says home more than a bunch of broken golems. These bloody stains are a pucker to get out. Something you wanted, Governor.
Raid. A lot of poisons. Right. He will not really sell me anything, but he will buy all my crap, and I need to dump a lot of equipment.
Greetings to you.
You certainly made a mess of this place, didn't you? Look at all the work you're making poor Lucas do.
Oh hey, I don't see you helping any, love.
But you are doing such a good job of it. I'm sorry, Rami. Was there something you wanted?
Potions. Epic healing.
Greetings to you.
How are you?
I don't really care how much he pays. Ooh, fuck, I do care. He's paying us nothing, practically. I mean, I'm seeing prices like 1/3 of the normal. I don't want to sell anything to him. I mean, I don't need the money, and it's not that desperate as far as room is concerned at the moment. Carry weight is not a problem. Elise. You still have a normal mace. Right, how about the Maze of Order? Sonic damage versus chaotic. Enchantment bonus +4. It's at least better. What's your armor? Expensive clothing. And the chain helm. Right, I might have looted her equipment at some point. She could use a heavy armor though. A shield too. We have +3 tower shields at the very least. Can easily get her hasted too. Big spell resistance mantle. Nether elf plate. Has the negative on to charisma, but wisdom is more important, and it doesn't have a negative to that. Also has the haste, which is pretty much mandatory at this point. But I need a shield. Mithril tower shield. Well, that's good enough. Null magic. It's a lot of immunities to casting. Probably the best we can do. Right. What else? I don't want a resistance ring if I can help it. Dragon slippers, better than nothing. Gloves and a ring. Okay. We're gonna have to give him a her resistance ring. Ooh, what is this? Negative energy damage plus 5. Wounding. Uh, extra sonic damage versus chaotic. Yeah, could you use this, please? Don't think I have an extra pair of gloves. Right. She isn't in terrible shape anymore. I'm not sure she's doing all that well either. She's very resistant to spells, has a high spell resistance and immune to spells of level 6 or lower. So it's not like she's in a terrible condition either. Right. Try. So the situation has certainly changed. I do need to get a proper shop at some point. At this stage, I would pretty much be willing to buy almost anything that is even slightly useful. Are we done? I think we're done. Okay. See if that's enough to make a difference.
What do you want?
So are you prepared for what is to come?
Yes. Have you been able to find Osric?
I have. Initially, I believed he would be aboard his flagship sailing back to Merpel, but his ship is still docked at Verloc, and he was nowhere to be seen. So I expanded my search to find that he has already arrived at the Royal Palace. Evidently, he has been teleported. This makes our task much more difficult, as we will have to circumvent the palace defenses. There are strong wards against teleportation magic inside the palace itself, so I cannot take us directly in there. The best I can do is put us just outside the main doors, and that means we need a plan.
I've been thinking about that, and I have an idea.
Enlighten me.
I propose a diversion of some sort to distract the guards. I think a large fire would do the trick. While they're dealing with that, we sneak past and head into the palace, easily able to deal with any remaining guards.
I like it. Simple but effective. We will find something to set on fire outside the palace. Now, if you are prepared, I will set up the teleporter to take us there.
Okay, I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
Just a moment. There, it is done. Proceed to the teleporter.
Because I'm super stealthy, so this plan will probably work super well.
What do you want?
Here we are, in the capital of the zone. I have placed my portal just out of sight of the main thoroughfare, but it would be best if we did not remain here for too long. The royal palace is just to the west.
Right, let's get on with this. Follow my lead.
I'm yours to command, evidently.
How good are you? High level wizard, without a doubt. Level 30 wizard, true neutral. Intelligence as shit, totally incapable of doing melee combat. Any immunity? Oh, can I see your equipment? Epic spell resistant mantle, hood of intellect, ropes of Terinus. Plus 5 damage reduction, plus 7, so 15 haste, immunity to death, magic, knockdown, paralysis, plus to saving throws, concentration and spellcraft, plus 6 intelligence, plus 5 defense, immune to pretty much everything, boots hardiness, so constitution and dodge bonus. But wizard does not live through the armor class, and he's pretty much immune to everything anyway at this point. Damage bonus magical 20. Right. Damage resistance cold and fire, enchantment bonus plus 6, regenerate plus 2, true seeing, weight reduction. It's a good staff. Right. I'm wondering, should I could give him a belt. I'm sort of... He seems like he's very, very temporary. I have a great belt though. It would mainly help, it would give him freedom, help with the armor class, but they're not things that he's reliant on, so I think I'll pass.